There we go. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Please be seated. Well, having watched that film, obviously we have quite an inspirational story and an inspirational person here with us today. But before we hear from Travis directly, I'd like to make sure we give another round of applause to the Santa Susana High School Advanced Women's Choir, the Abbey Road A Cappella Group, the Jazz Combo, and the Royal High School Wind Ensemble for that wonderful beginning to today's program. I think they're still circling above, but we'd also like to thank as well the Tiger Squadron for that great flyover earlier this morning. Well, for those of you I've not yet met, my name is John Highbush, and I have the honor of being the executive director of the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation. And I want to thank every one of you for coming out on such a special day. I'd now like to introduce the Ronald Reagan Marine Corps League Detachment number 597, who will parade the colors. I ask that you please stand for the colors and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem. Parade the colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming.
Retire the colors.
Order. Put. Out. Hey. Over. What? Oh.
Thank you. Please be seated. Before we go further, there are a few more people in the audience I'd like to make sure we recognize. A special thank you to Bevan Abbey and Lisa Pate for providing today's terrific musical performances, and to Paul DiNabilo and the Washington Artillery of New Orleans for their wonderful reenactments you might have seen in our courtyard. I'd also like to thank Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 3 for bringing their vehicles here today. Simi Valley City Manager Eric Levitt. Eric. Thousand Oaks City Council Member Rob McCoy. And Chief Staff Officer Captain Doug King from the Naval Base, Ventura County. And of course, finally, a special thank you to all of the veterans in our audience today. We thank you for your honor, for your bravery, for your dedication to our country and its freedom. We salute all of you. In 1986, speaking about Veterans Day, President Reagan said the following: "Veterans Day gives all Americans a special opportunity to pay tribute to all those men and women who throughout our history have left their homes and loved ones to serve their country. Their willingness to give freely and unselfishly of themselves, even their lives, in defense of our democratic principles has given our great country the security we all enjoy today." The President continued, "On this special day, our hearts and thoughts turn to all of our nation's veterans. Let us reflect on the great achievements of those whose sacrifices preserved our freedom and our way of life. With a spirit of pride and gratitude, let us all recall their heroic accomplishments and thank them for their unselfish devotion to duty. They are indeed worthy of a solemn tribute of a grateful nation." So now, in honor of these men and women, those who are currently fighting, those who are missing, those who have perished, and those who are veterans, may I ask, please, for a moment of silence. Thank you. Now to today's program. This is the 6th time I've been honored to be a part of our Veterans Day program here at the Reagan Library. And every year, I've been honored to introduce our keynote speaker. But this year, I am extremely privileged and truly humbled to share a stage with such an extraordinary man. As we witnessed from the video that opened the program this morning, Staff Sergeant Travis Mills of the 82nd Airborne was critically injured and on his 3rd tour of duty in Afghanistan by an IED. He lost portions of both arms and both legs. He is only one of 5 quadruple amputees from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan to survive his injuries. But he did not let this slow him down. Despite his injuries, he continues to overcome life's challenges by breaking physical barriers and defying all the odds. He's become a motivational speaker, an actor, an author, and an advocate for veterans and their amputees. In 2013, he founded the Travis Mills Foundation, a nonprofit organization formed to benefit and to assist wounded and injured veterans. Following today's program, he has agreed to stay and sign copies of his brand new book, Tough as They Come. I really encourage you to read this book. I had the chance to, and it is just a phenomenal read. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you a true American hero who is indeed as tough as they come, Travis Mills.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just all day. All day. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hey, thanks for having me. I do appreciate it. Couple things, ladies, I'm married, so sorry. I know. I hate to break hearts, but let's mend some friendships. And I truthfully am grateful to be here. I'm glad I get to see you guys. You guys nailed it earlier. I just couldn't see you guys. And I'm not in charge of anything, so it hasn't been that way for 7 years. I've been married that long, so I ain't been in charge of nothing. So I'll let you take over, but I do appreciate you coming to listen to me talk. I probably are not just here for me. There's a president that this is all about, so way more important than me, but thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thank you, Travis. So I noticed a very good friend of the Reagan Library, Gary Sinise, wrote the foreword to your book, but you know Gary in another way as well, I think. Can you tell the audience how Gary touched in your life?
Yeah, so Forrest Gump, he's Lieutenant Dan. No, his foundation actually built my smart home for me. And I'm an ambassador to his foundation now, and I get to travel around with him sometimes in his band to do the great work that Gary Sinise does. He texted me this morning, wishing he could be here, but he had to be on set for his new show on Criminal Minds, Beyond Borders. Check it out. I don't know if I'm supposed to plug that for him, but he ain't gonna be upset about it. And he uses a lot of emojis and emoticons when he texts people, so I just thought you guys should know that because it's kind of weird. No, sorry, I'm not very serious. That's my problem.
No, he actually, in helping bring a home together for you, there's like special needs that you would have that he's made, that he's able to accommodate through the kind of home he's built. Can you explain any of those for us?
Absolutely. Because if I'm in my wheelchair and I'm at the house making my daughter breakfast, I got to be able to roll underneath the stove to be able to cook so I get close enough. So the stove is open underneath. They have cupboards that come down so I can grab glasses off without dropping and breaking them. They have doors that automatically open, lights that come on automatically. If I leave something on in the basement, but I'm upstairs in my bedroom, I can get on the iPad. It's all smart home technology and shut it off. And just some really innovative and creative things I do for service members in my situation. So I can't thank Gary Sinise and the RISE program enough for all they've really done.
Great.
Yeah.
You know, Travis, I know many people, if they're in some sort of incredible accident, some traumatic experience, oftentimes they go into shock, and when they wake up in the hospital, they mostly don't have any recognition or remembrance at all of what happened to them. But in reading your book, it sounds like, and maybe for better or worse, you remember every single moment from the time the bomb went off to, well, for several days later. Are you willing to tell us, okay, what happened?
Oh yeah, I was on my third deployment with the 82nd Airborne Division. It was April 10th, 2012. We had a call the IED was coming, or out in the city, we had to go find it. And we strapped our gear on about 4:30 in the afternoon, and we went out. We had the minesweeper. We looked all over the ground, cleared it up and down, not once but twice. The minesweeper didn't actually pick the IED up. And I told my gun team, I said, hey, come on up here. And I set my bag on the ground, and it was about 180 to 110 pounds, depending on what we had in it for ammunitions. And I set it down. It completed the circuit for the IED, and within a second, a bomb ripped off my right arm and right leg. My left leg, a couple pieces of tendon, skin, and muscle holding it, so it was really snapped through the bone. And my left hand was still there, but my wrist was blown out, and my pinky and ring finger were mangled up and gone. So I hit the ground. I rolled over. I saw everything. I went, oh, this is not good. And Monday, go figure. And sorry, it's a really intense moment, I know. And I radioed my LT on my trucker mic, and I said, hey, LT, I just smacked a bomb. We need your medic over here with mine. So my medic started working on me. I told him, save my guys, let me go. There's no point. Not that I was wanting to perish, but I've seen guys go for a lot less. And my medic just said, let me do my job. There's probably some other choice words, but we don't need to get into that. And he fixed me up. They got me bandaged up and on the helicopter to the gurney ride to the operating table. And then when I got into the operating table, they were ready to knock me out. And I tried to fight them off, and I was swinging my nubs around. And I'm like, don't touch me, I'm fine, leave me alone. They said, I don't know how you're still conscious, but you need to go to sleep. And the last thing I said, my baby girl will ever see her again. I had a 6-month-old at the time. So they knocked me out on April 10th. They took my pants off, my left leg came with it. So made that kind of easy to be a triple amputee. And then 2 days later, on the 12th, they cut my left hand off. And like you saw in the film, I woke up, my brother-in-law was there with me. And on April 14th, which happens to be my mom and dad's favorite day in their whole entire life, my birthday, it's not my sister or my brother's birthday, like I'm the favorite, Like they had the first one, they're like, oh my gosh, we gotta try this again. They had me, perfection. Had the third one, like, oh, we thought we had the serum, but we didn't, We'll keep them around till 17 and throw them out probably. But they wouldn't say that. But anyway, so April 14th, I woke up for the first time. And I asked my brother-in-law, who was sitting next to my bedside, my soldiers saw my soldiers. He told me, and then I said, am I paralyzed? And he said, no. I said, Josh, you can tell me. I can't feel my fingers and toes. And he said, you're not paralyzed, but you don't have them anymore. So on my 25th birthday, I found out I was, in fact, a quadruple amputee. April 17th, I arrived at Walter Reed. And my wife, it wasn't that Hallmark moment that everybody would imagine, like the movies would have it, real nice. I rolled in, I had sutures that ripped open. They had to take me in emergency surgery. And my wife had to sign a paper saying to cut 2 inches off my right leg. And when I talked to my wife for the first time, out of that surgery, I said, look, you don't have to put up with this. I went from 6'3", 250 pounds of sheer pure, like, see what I'm saying? To 140 pounds, of, nothing really left of me, I didn't think. So I told her, don't put up with this. Take our daughter, Chloe, and go ahead and move on, take the house, the cars, the money, and I'll keep paying you what I can pay you. Whenever I get paid, you'll get the money. And she said, that's not how this is going to work. And I thank her for it, because with her sitting by my side and my daughter squeezing my nose, laying on my chest, and I'm trying to fight her off. And then she's 6 months old. I don't look any different. I'm not a monster. They really changed my perspective of what could be done. And then with Walter Reed and the help I got there, I got my prosthetics fit. 5 weeks I had my hand. 7 weeks and 4 days I was walking again. And I just took it on full on. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's all a testament to Walter Reed and the great services that they do up there. And they have it in Balboa as well as BAMC. The things that medical technology, like advancements in all fields with healthcare, just so amazing. I can walk and drive my truck and spin my hand in a circle. It doesn't even hurt. Like, I can go the other way too. I just thought you guys should know. Anyway, sorry.
Travis, I could tell in reading your book you were an optimist, long before you put on the uniform, and obviously you are today. And, you're able to make light of some incredible things. And there was a moment when I saw in the book when you finally figured out, like you say, that you were a quadruple amputee, and there was 2 words that you uttered that you said about in the book that it's not like you to do that, but what were they, and if you could talk about it?
Just kind of, I quit. I didn't want to go through with it, because this was before I saw my wife, before I knew what was going to happen. This was when I woke up, and I thought, oh man, I have really nothing to give to my family anymore. And I kind of said I quit, and I was pretty upset about it. But thanks to my wife staying by my side, and my daughter being there, and my family and everybody throughout the nation really supporting me. I had another quadruple amputee from the Marine Corps that came in. He's like, hey, what's up? My name's Todd. And I'm like, this is a hallucination. Like, these painkillers are really good. Like, this is a robot. And no, he walked in and said, I'm Todd. You're going to be fine. And he encouraged me that life was going to get better. So after he came to my room, I actually got in an argument with my doctors the next morning about going to physical therapy. And I was like, I'm going to go. And they said, you're not ready. And I said, I'm going to do crunches in my bed till I hurt myself. And then they're like, that's not very smart. And then I said, I'm going to jump out of this bed and low crawl, which wasn't smart because there's a wheelchair next to me that was powered. I could have drove to the occupational therapy room. But I called every half hour for 4 hours straight. They let me go to physical therapy, and I laid on my stomach, and they put a heating pad on my back, and I stretched my pelvis, and I took a 20-minute nap. And that has been like my workout routine ever since. It's amazing. Like you guys should try that. It's really good.
There's an organization that I'm sure everyone here has heard about. You certainly know about it, called the Wounded Warrior Project. And when we were talking in the green room before we came on, Travis, you were saying, and as you said in the book too, I don't want to be known as a wounded warrior. Tell me why.
Well, I mean, nothing against the Wounded Warrior Project or what they do, or what they're trying to achieve. I'm not wounded anymore. I have some scars, awesome scars that, like I said, ladies, still married, But no, I have scars. Wounded would mean I'm still injured, and I'm no longer injured. So I'd like the negative, connotations of being wounded to go away. I don't have PTSD, which I'm fortunate, and thank you. And I think it's great that people who get wounded can get help and everything, but with veterans out there trying to get jobs right now, they either have are you one of those wounded warriors, or do you have PTSD? And that's just not the case. And we need to get veterans back to work in the civilian job force. Thanks. Yeah. And I don't want to be called wounded anymore, if that's okay. I mean, I put my pants on like everybody else, and then I put my legs on, But, and then I walk to my truck, and I hop in, and I drive my daughter to school, and, go to the grocery store and grab stuff for my wife. So I'm actually a really boring guy, Nothing exciting about me.
Travis, I know you went back for a third tour. And that wasn't a requirement of, you decided to stick it out to stay in the service and go for a third tour, right?
I did. I had the opportunity. They had orders come through. I was supposed to go to Fort Hood, Texas, and I decided that I had kids from high school, and I say kids, I should say young men, that came in and only knew me as a boss and only knew me as a leader, and I didn't think it was right for me to pack up and go to Fort Hood. So I went to my sergeant major's office, and I went there and said, Sergeant Major, I'm not doing the right stuff. Like, why did I get orders to Fort Hood? And he said, what are you talking about? And I showed him my orders, and he said, this can't be right. You're 82nd Airborne. I said, exactly, I know. And, my wife and I discussed it, and I told her I'll be fine, and she understood the brotherhood, so what we did was had the orders canceled so I could go back overseas. Oof. No one said infantry was the brightest around, right? No, and I don't regret my decision. I would take back when I get them blown up, but I went for the guy to my left and my right, and the soldiers I had trained and taught how to fight, and the real brotherhood there, so that's what mattered to me. And I wouldn't get blown up again, to be honest with you. I know some people are like, I'll do it all over again. This has been a great experience. Like, I'm not going to lie to you. No. I wouldn't do that. But, you can't go back in the past. I don't dwell on the past. And I'm just thankful to be around. It's all about perspective. Everybody wonders how I keep a positive outlook. And when I go around and speak to businesses throughout the country, I was just at Microsoft yesterday, and my slide of perspective is there's guys that didn't make it home. I have my buddy Frankie up there, and he has a wife and a kid that he'll never see again. He's buried at Arlington. And I have a kid that was in my unit, Brandon Goodine, who was not my friend. He was a soldier, and we went fraternized together. And I can tell you that, and that's not me being rude or being mean when I say I wasn't my friend. He had a kid in high school, got his GED, joined the military to take care of his daughter, and he died when she was 7 months old. So there are guys that sacrifice so much more than me, men and women, that sacrifice so much more than me. And how thankful and lucky am I that I'm in the situation I am where I can drive my daughter to school and I can have a book that I write to tell people to keep pushing forward and keep going. I'm not someone you have to pity. I'm not a sob story. And this is just my story. So, when people wonder my perspective and how I have it, I had 9 doctors, 7 nurses, worked 14 hours straight, 2 nurses for 9 hours pump air into my lungs to keep me alive. And it'd just be a selfish smack in the face if I just ever gave up on myself or my family or the guys or men and women that didn't make it home. So I guess if you guys weren't wondering that question, I just answered it. You're welcome. No, I don't know.
Well, it's time to take some questions from you in the audience. And
just real quick, nothing offends me, nothing bothers me. I can still have kids. So just like my father-in-law's here today. We don't got to get into that subject. My father-in-law travels with me. But just in case anybody's like worried about any awkward question, there's nothing awkward, so just throw it out there.
Yeah.
Yep, we have a question right there. Yes, sir. Oh, sorry, you're in charge, not me.
That's okay, Travis.
Hey, I don't have a question. I have a request. I'd like to come down there and give you a welcome home hug.
Bring it, yeah, yeah, absolutely. If that's okay. I'm not in charge. Thank you, sir. And thanks.
Just wait until John Hubbard calls on
I
you.
appreciate it. I'm
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
God, love you, brother.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I was combat engineer for 9th Week before.
Yeah,
Not fun.
not at all.
Thank you much.
Hey, thank you. And if I can just, on that note, let everybody know, in the book, in the author's note, I don't hold my service any higher than anybody else's. And it says that. Like, not that I would, but people always think they didn't do as much as I did. And that's not true. I raised my right hand like everybody else. I went overseas. I volunteered for my country. So if you're a veteran like you, sir, thanks for your service. Vietnam vets, I'm sorry what you had to go through to get home when you got home. But truthfully, for what you guys had to go through, you made sure that this generation of warfighters didn't go through that. And I thank you for that. So hats off to that. And I appreciate it.
You're a real man. I've met some tough guys before. Nothing like you, bud.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Thanks
Thank
much.
you very much.
Great, thank you.
And also, I don't hold my problems any higher than anybody else's. Like, that's in the book, too. Like, we have something you're going through. I don't think mine are any worse. Visually, I look different. But if you're going through something, best of luck to you. And always, yes, over here. Sorry, I get chatting. I talk.
Thank you for your great service and your great sacrifice and your wonderful, impressive attitude. I wanted to ask you, if your daughter someday says that she would like to serve, what would be your response and advice to her?
Go for it. Honestly, I'm one of 5. This isn't something I'm fearful for my daughter to do, and it wasn't in my hands to hit that IED. It wasn't nothing that I had control over that day. And truthfully, if my daughter wants to go in, I just want her to be educated. The military can work such great wonders for you if you just understand what the jobs are. If you want to go ROTC and have your college paid for and then go into a career and get your training and come out. The military has so many different jobs, like 200 some odd jobs that you can choose from, just in the Army alone. So as long as she's well educated on what the jobs are and what she wants to be when she grows up, I tell her to go for it. And she has all my support.
Right over here.
Yep.
Hello? Hello? Okay.
Hello.
I really admire your optimism, and I hope to strive to be like you one day. But what inspired you to join the military?
That's a funny story. So I was playing college football at a college, and then I had a girlfriend that convinced me I should move home. And I moved home, and my girlfriend had a boyfriend named Colin. And I was like, Colin, I've never met you. And he's like, you weren't supposed to. And I was like, well, this is awkward. He's like, I know, right? Like, I was trying to hide from you. And I'm like, I get why you would. And I figured I would change things up. So I went to the military. I mean, if I can be completely honest, like, oh, I should move home. And it's like, wait, Colin, who's this guy? And he's like, oh, that's my other boyfriend. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Like, I didn't know about Colin. I'm not cool with that. She's like, are you sure? No. No, it didn't work out with that relationship, which fortunately I found my wife. And hey, I'm happy about that. So that's the truth of it. I could just tell you, I really wanted to do something great for my country, and I did. But really, it was all because of this man named Colin that I didn't know about. Yeah.
Right
Am I
here?
too honest? I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Right here in the middle.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm an Air Force flight nurse, and I'm about to retire. And I deployed 12 times to fly guys like you home.
Oh, thank you so much for your service.
And it's just such a pleasure, an honor, and privilege for me to see you here alive and with a life, because I never got to see the end of the story or the rest of the story. And we flew plane loads home, 50 and 60, and I can't tell you how many amputees I've flown home, but it's just such an honor to be here today.
Thanks for what you do. Thank you so much. And thanks for what you do as well.
Oh, yes, right here.
I'd like to start by saying thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And, well, I'd like to know if, does your family and friends treat you any differently since the incident?
Well, they used to, but I like to start out with a joke or something, and I try to disarm the situation. Oh, no, at first they did, but I like to let them know I'm just the same guy I was before, and like I was with my buddy eating lunch or dinner the other night, and I tripped and I stubbed my toe and I went down. He's like, "What do I do?" And he went to pick me up and said, "Get away from me!" And I picked myself back up. I was like, "What are you doing? Are you weird?" But they did at first, but now they just realize I'm the same as I was. I have some awesome, I work with Iron Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, this has missiles. I can't wear that in public. I got jetpack legs. I have kids that want to be me for Halloween, you know. But that's it. Thanks for the question. I appreciate it.
Right over here.
Travis, I've heard so much about you from my nephew, TJ.
Oh, yeah.
In Vassar. I grew up in Vassar.
Yes.
Probably went to school with Lillian, I don't know if Lily, the twins.
Dennis Mills was my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
He went to Vassar, yeah.
So this was the closest I think I was going to get to you, so I'm just so thankful that you came here and listened to you today.
I appreciate, I'm from a small town just where you're from, 2,500 people, so I'm going to be here as long as people let me be here. And hanging out, and then if you guys don't want to hang out, you guys can kick me out, I guess, you know. I'll cry to my pillow, I tell it all my secrets, so. No, I'm just kidding. But thank you, I appreciate that.
Right here.
Did you like school?
Did I like school? I love school. I did enjoy school. I liked history and math, and then I played football, baseball, basketball, powerlifting, and track, so you name it. And then I joined the military to be with the brotherhood of someone like the football team had. So I did enjoy it. You like school? That's good. We should. It's fun.
You better.
Yeah. Sorry.
We've got time for a couple more questions. We'll go here way in the back. Yeah.
Right. So I just want to start out by saying thank you for your service, and I just want to ask, do you really miss your life before the amputation?
Well, that's a tricky question because of course I do. Of course I do. I was way cooler then, you know. I had 22-inch biceps, so. But you can't dwell on the past. Like I can reminisce the past. I can be happy about what I used to have. And I'm thankful for the 24, or I guess roughly 25 years I had. But, I have so much now going for me. I have my wife, my daughter, a great career. I go around speaking. I get to, talk to crowds like this. And you can't dwell. I can reminisce, but I don't dwell. There's nothing I can change about my past, so I don't live there. I keep moving forward, and I'm thankful for that. I guess it's the best, it's the best I can say.
My question is about Gary Sinise and the home that you're building up in Maine for the wounded veterans, or not wounded.
Previously wounded.
Okay,
just
previously wounded.
Injured.
And I was wondering, I just want to hear a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So I think what you're asking about is the Travis Mills Foundation. So I started a 501c3 because I was able to go out to Colorado and go snowboarding and downhill mountain biking. And from that experience, I realized that some guys weren't able to take their families. So we started a 501c3. We're in the process of renovating the Elizabeth Arden estate. She was a cosmetic pioneer, and she built this place in 1929. So it's a $2.7 million undertaking that, boy, if you guys wanted to just donate and take some of the weight off my shoulders, that would feel so good.
How do they donate?
Absolutely. TravisMills.org has all the information. I will tell you, my board members, I'm the president. They'll never get paid. So I'll never take a paycheck away from that. It's just about bringing families up to Maine to show them how to kayak, canoe, boat, swim, fish, tube, anything and everything that that we can let them experience with their families, because it's not just them going through it, it's their families, and let them know not to live life on the sidelines, because they have to get out there and still be okay with their new normal, I guess you can say, and keep going forward with life. So that's what the foundation is striving to do, and we're thankful that people are taking interest. And again, TravisMills.org. Also, we have pamphlets. Probably not that many pamphlets. We have a lot. You have pamphlets up here. My father-in-law Craig has them, and we'll go from there.
Great. One last question. We'll take it right here in the middle.
It's an honor talking to you. Thank you for your service. And I have a question. is it ever like discomfortable, like wearing your prosthetic limbs? Is it ever discomfortable?
At first it was uncomfortable. I got to use them for 1 hour a day and then 2 hours. And now I had this one on. I'll be honest with you, I was on East Coast time, so I woke up at 4 a.m. yesterday morning. And then I didn't get here until 2:30. So I had my arm on for about 20 hours, 22 hours. And I'm just, my skin's used to it now. When I first had my legs, I walked a 5K. I rubbed them so raw, I bled into my sockets. But I didn't quit walking because I came out of a tunnel in New York and had 343 firefighters that perished on 9/11. And that's the time I wanted to sit down. I said, no way. If these guys aren't around anymore, I can push for an extra mile. So it's not uncomfortable anymore. Thankfully, with how the prosthetics work and everything, I do really well. And thank you. You got another? Do you, man?
Oh, I don't have another question.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Travis, if you could just sit tight. This is, we're now going to transition to a part of the program I just love. I've loved every year we do this, but our orchestra is going to be playing a service medley. So when your service's song comes up, if you please stand so we can recognize you and see who you are during the medley. And if there's family members here representing a veteran or someone on active duty, we'd like you to stand for them as well. So with that, we'll have the Santa Susana High School Orchestra and Choir take us through the service medley.
Army.
First to fight for the right and to give the nation's light, and the army goes rolling along. Round the barrel of gun, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. This is high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count on the cadence loud and strong. 2, 3, 4, ha! 2, 3, forward, here we go. You will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Marines.
From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Jersey, we will fight our country's battles on the air on the Red Sea. First to fight for right and freedom, and to keep our honor free. We are proud to claim the title of United States Marines.
Coast Guard.
We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. And shot and shell to win the victory. Semper Paratus is our guide, our pledge, our motto too. We're always ready, do or die. I Coast Guard, we fight for you.
Navy.
Anchors away, my boys, anchors away. Farewell to Polish shores, we sail at break of day, 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 day. On the sky, down shore, hail to the foe, until we meet once more here.
Well, I want to thank all of you for being with us here today. We will be concluding the ceremony with the playing of God Bless America, but before that, I'd like to remind all of the veterans and active duty members of the military that you receive free admission today to the Reagan Library and Air Force One, so please feel free to take advantage of that. Next week, we're going to have something very special here at the Reagan Library on Wednesday, November 18th through Sunday, November 22nd. We'll be hosting the Vietnam Veteran Memorial Foundation's Wall That Heals, which is the official traveling Vietnam Wall. I don't know if you've had the opportunity to see the Vietnam Wall in Washington, but this traveling exhibit of the wall is just remarkable, and it's well worth your time to come out and take a look. God bless you all, and happy Veterans Day. If you can, please do stay afterwards to meet, say hello to Travis, and to buy one of his incredible books. Thanks so much.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home.
Ladies and gentlemen, Staff Sergeant Mills has agreed to pose for photos with everyone who has purchased a signed book. Books are still available out in our lobby or in our museum store upstairs. There are limited quantities of them, so we encourage you to go get one. For those that have already purchased, the photo line begins right where I'm standing in front of the stage, okay? And it will wrap back towards where the band and choir are performing. Everybody, if we could encourage you please to use those center aisles to exit, okay? We will not be using this side aisle for exit. So if you want to be the front of the line, you are right here where I'm standing. Thank you all for coming.